Hello, Honorée.
Hello, Lucas.
How is everyone doing out there? We already have people leaving comments, and we just got here. Hello, Renee.
Hello, Renee. Is Ohio sunny?
Yeah.
It must be apocalyptic because Ohio is not sunny.
I was gonna say I'm calling something on that.
Yeah. Well, it has to come out once or twice a year. This is the day, Renee. This is the day you can go out and lay in the sun. This is the spring day. There's going to be one day in the fall too that you can go outside and it'll be sunny in Ohio or Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how gray they were until I didn't live there anymore. Yeah. Look, it's Tony. Hey, Tony, where have you been?
Hey, what's going on, Tony?
We've missed seeing you here. Welcome back. And then there's my little brother. Don't you have something you're supposed to be doing right now, Justin?
Don't pick on him.
No, I'm not. He had something at the top of the hour, I thought, and then he was going to be joining us a little later with an update. So maybe something changed.
Gotcha.
I just realized I don't have an Empire Builders podcast logo on my mug or on a mug. Although, I would like to manifest less mugs.
Oh my God.
Right? I feel like mugs multiply while I'm sleeping. Finishing the new book. Fantastic. Okay, not till 11:25, and Tony's been working on his book. That's fantastic. Spicy new coaching program offer. Excellent. You know what you missed, Tony, was the emoji for spicy, which is a hot pepper. So I expect better.
Tony, should I ask what do you mean by spicy?
Yes, and
I write fiction. I see this a lot related to romance authors.
Oh. Well, Lucas, why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, well that's a good segue. My name's Lucas, and I help nonfiction authors create courses from their books. What about you, Miss Honorée?
I'm Honorée, and I help professionals become authors and monetize their books.
Yes, you do, which we're going to talk about today.
I think we might.
Because you may have written a book or two about that topic.
Yeah. Yes. I may have. It could be. It could have happened.
Like you may have actually published one in the last week or two.
Yeah. Yes. That also true. Yes. Exactly. But we do want to know what spicy means, Tony. And just so you are understanding what Lucas is talking about, there is a segment of romance that is referred to as spicy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that means that it's not something you read in print in public. Right?
You don't read it out loud, that's for sure.
Yes. Well, I mean, it depends on the coaching program. He says, oh, snap, I guess I should have picked a better descriptive. I knew what you meant, but Lucas, of course, went there. So we have to clarify. Of course he did. He's a man.
I'll be consistent, I promise,
guys. Consistent. Yes, perfect. And then Michael is here. And Michael, I have not had a chance, thank you so much, to acknowledge your wonderful review of the new book we're talking about today. So thank you so very, very much. I appreciate every review, even, and I discovered this when I was looking at my reviews, because I just look at when the numbers go up. I see that there is a very long review for You Must Market Your Book that is a 1-star.
Yes,
one star. Yeah, I love the 1 star. Like, bring it, because sometimes people think, oh, they're all 5 stars, they all must be her friends. Like, I don't think I have that many friends. So people are just doing it of their own volition, which I so appreciate. And so I saw the 1-star review and I was like, all right, I got your number. I see what you did there. You can make some of the people happy some of the time, but you can't make all of the people happy all of the time.
That's true.
So Tony has a response. I think you need to put it up there.
Well,
Tony, but there are some things that are done in public that shouldn't be done in public. So if you've ever been to Mardi Gras.
Yes, or a Fantasy Fest in Key West.
Oh, or Amsterdam. We're going downhill very quickly. Let's take it back up. Let's go back up into the sunshine in Ohio. Oh, that's so nice. All right, well, let's go with Harlequin is not what we're talking about when we mean spicy. Let's talk about that. But then we'll skip right back over that, back up into the sunshine. And I will say very, very graciously, thank you. It's impactful, therefore deserves 6 stars.
Michael, super, super awesome guy.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the, and Michael, I'm trying to figure out, I only have this little tiny little thing I can see on the screen. That's your icon for your YouTube account. I was looking for your familiar face on there. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Don't see it. We have to update that.
I think it needs to not go without mention. And Justin, I'm surprised there has been no comment from you about my sexy new microphone that is here. Which technically is my sexy old microphone that I've had for a super long time. That it has been pointed out to me that my audio until today could have been better.
Now, who pointed that out to you? Is it your loving husband?
Everyone ever. Honorée, you need better audio, said everyone all the time.
Really?
Well, to be fair, no, that's not accurate, but it has been said. And my husband is an audio engineer, and my brother has an ear for audio and is a video guy. And, everyone says lovingly, which, you can say a lot if you say it lovingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? It's like, it could be better. And then they make the face. Right? So I'm like, what's the face? It could be better. Okay. Well, I have the right. Thank you, Justin. Yes. So Byron's been saying it for years. He was the original sayer. And now I've got a comment from the Peanut Gallery that says you wouldn't let me fix it. Which is also true. I think that's true. For a long time, to be fair, in my defense, do I need to be on the defensive? I think so. Just for a minute.
I mean, you can be. If you want.
My cat would have loved this particular thing. She would have gone at this microphone like it was her job. And so now that she is older and is less inclined, less kittenish, it is pretty much safe. But it was on my desk for a really long time. And then I would have to put like a purse bag over it to protect it from her because she was always trying to get at it. And so now that season of life has passed, and unless someone has plans that I don't know about, that we will not have any more kittens. So the microphone is now safe and I can now have good audio. And I want to welcome Jen Valentino.
Hey, Jen.
Editor for the book proofreader for the book we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jen, how was well, I'm asking you a question that you would probably require a lot more than just typing in the chat, but do you have a favorite chapter or topic from the book we're going to discuss today? If so, drop it in the chat.
That's nice. I would ask that of Michael and Renee also, because they have been very kind to leave reviews. Lucas, have you left your review yet?
I have not.
Oh, so you would be number 15 that I'm waiting for?
That's why I was saying right before the show, I said, I got to hurry up and get that thing in there so I can tip you over
tip me over the algorithm edge.
Although we'll see if sometimes Amazon's good with me and they're like, yeah, you're good. We'll just go ahead and print this right now. And other times they're like, let's wait a little while for this.
Make review. You work for it.
That's right.
Yes.
I'll submit one and it's like a week.
Yeah. So what you been reading?
I just finished this morning a book from Tobin Elliott. And
is this another one of those books Amazon's going to recommend to me because I read Bury the Child?
Perhaps. Bad Blood is the name of the book. It's actually like a prequel novella to a series. And it is not for the light of heart. Let's just put it that way. It's not
All right.
an extreme it's not like an extreme horror or splatterpunk type read. It's not like that at all, but it is pretty intense. And it's called Bad Blood, and it's really good. And Tobin has a wonderful voice with fiction. And I've been reading You Must Monetize Your Book. So those have been my
Excellent. All right.
and I mean,
Thank
I don't know
you.
if you can consider this reading, but I'm proofing my own audiobook this week. So my reading capacity has been drastically reduced. Yeah.
Yes, same. My week has just been like picture a bus that's old in the middle of the field. There has no wheels and the windows have been shot out. That's been my week.
It's like a post-apocalyptic
Post-apocalyptic bus.
bus.
Just
Yeah.
boom. Yeah, Honorée, that's Honorée's week. Michael, I don't know which Nick Pavlidis quote you are referring to. I didn't even know I quoted Nick Pavlidis in my book.
Oh.
I wrote it a long time ago. To be fair, I wrote it in September of last year, which is a long time ago. Or it feels like it is. So tell me which quote you're excited about, and then I'll highlight it and send a copy to Nick.
There you go.
That's fair. That's every other yard in the South. Also that. Yes. Yes.
We
Thank
don't
you, Jen.
we
For
almost
the compliment.
don't even feel like we're living in the South right now. I mean, Virginia's kind of like dead smack in the middle of the East Coast. Our
Right.
weather's been insane.
Our weather was really cold this morning. I had on all the layers, and then over top of all the layers, I had my husband's like North Face. It's not a North Face coat. I forget who makes it, but it's one of those that's rated for like Green Bay Stadium in the middle of winter.
Lambeau Field.
Lambeau Field. It's rated for Lambeau Field during the apocalyptic snowstorm. And I didn't have gloves on. So I was warm, but my fingers were turning blue. It was very cold, but it's supposed to be 68 today, which is still 2 degrees below my minimum temperature requirement for ideal weather.
That's your ideal weather?
70. 70 is my ideal weather. 70 or warmer, preferably sunny.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So 68, we're almost there. I'm like, come on, Tennessee, you can do it. You can get there.
70 is the ideal, huh? It is right there in the punch.
I would, maybe 75, but I mean, I can't be greedy. I don't want to be greedy.
I hear that, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like outside of all that stuff, you may or may not have released a book in the last week.
I did, but I want to give some love to some books I read. I've been reading.
Oh, did I not ask you that?
No.
Guys, I am slipping today. You know what it is? I turned down that second cup of tea.
I questioned that inside my head.
Fatal error. So, Honorée, what have you been reading this week?
Well, I read this, Lucas.
And
I read
survived.
this. I read this with the lights on and Byron was home. Yeah, right? Like I had the dogs around me just in case anything or anyone was coming for me, because there were some real strong intimations that there were some superpowers things. Very scary. I did not know that Nick said that, but I will highlight it in the book. I will do a search and then I will send it to him. But I also finally finished, for those of you who have been tuning in for a while, we appreciate you. I finished Arate.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because
I never finish.
Oh, well,
Impossible.
I was pretty stoked. And as an admirer of back matter, I have to say that 946, page 946 was the end of the actual content of the book. And so here's the end of the book. And then here are all the pages.
Back matter. Wow.
With back matter. And that goes all the way to page 1027.
Wow.
So we have from 80 pages, just shy 79 pages of back matter, which is longer than some books, to be fair. There are pages of endorsements and other programs and an assessment of the process and the list of books that were mentioned inside this book, which has been particularly problematic for me because every time another book is mentioned, I'm like, squirrel.
Let's go get it.
So in between, I have looked up other books, and then finally I just stopped. I'm like, let me just highlight it. I'm going to come back to this. So this is the first reading of the book. I'm going to put it back on the TBR pile for my morning reading. And I'm just going to circle back. But I also had occasion, I really want to talk about this. So Creating Superfans by Brittany Hodak. She is just a beast of a speaker and an author. Don't buy the book, Lucas. Jen, don't buy the book. I can't say why. I'm not saying why. But
thank you, Jen.
it's a very fantastic read. And I read it. I took a day. I took a day over the weekend, last weekend, and rested. And I read the book in a day. Because as one who reads a lot, I'm a pretty fast reader.
You are a very fast reader.
But I mean, look at all my flags. I got flags in here. I got highlights everywhere. I mean, highly, 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 highly recommend, but not for Jen and Lucas.
And what's the author's name again?
Brittany Hodak.
Brittany Hodak.
Hodak. So I saw her speak at a City Current event in Nashville. City Current is an organization. Their tagline is powering business professionals together, and then they do community service with money and projects, which is fantastic. You know, I'm a fan.
Yeah. And
I went up to her and introduced myself and chatted with her for a couple of minutes and said, I can't wait to read your book, and I want to send you a copy of You Must Market Your Book. And so we got together and did a book exchange. We had a little coffee book exchange, and I just think she's really cool. So I just wanted to give her a shout out and use my voice to bring more awareness to her speaking and her processes. And it's all about customer experience, CX. And it was very interesting because she really shed some light in some dark places for me. Not that they were dark, not like Bury the Child dark, but see what I did there? You're welcome. Just helped me to realize where I could improve my client experience for the books that I do, for the mastermind I run, things like that. So it was very validating in some ways. And also I had some snap moments like, oh, wow, I need to take my game up a lot. And so I'm going to go back through the book again and put it into practice, which is, I think, for me, what I like to do with books, where I find this actionable content, right? Isn't my mic fantastic, Renee? It's really good.
She's so happy right now.
Really good. I'm really psyched about my microphone right now. It's the little things, right? It's like, I'm going to take it. It's a value. It's a positive in my week. Lots of positivism in my week. Just, it's been a long week. It's been a busy week. No poltergeist. Yeah, exactly. I just want to read the happy things.
Oh, Michael updated his profile pic. Good job.
There he is. Hey.
I see your smiling face now.
Awesome. We'll go over and check that out for sure. So
that's what I've been reading Poltergeist. Yeah.
Reading it
or
watching it, listening to it. No. Also, yes. Also, I'm so glad you didn't write that or read that, because I felt guilty for not reading your stuff, because I think you're just the best. So,
well, I told you Bury the Child wasn't really that scary. It's creepy, but it's not that scary.
I would agree. I would agree, B.
You're just making up words now.
Oh my gosh. Honorée, have some coffee or some sleep. Yeah, that's fine.
I love
Everything's fine. Yes.
Actually, you were talking about your 1-star review earlier. I had a 4-star review, which is fantastic, for Burn the Girls. And it kind of caught me a little off because they were like, yeah, this isn't really horror. This might be like YA. And I was like, really? Like, it's just funny how people's perspectives, what you might find creepy, someone else finds like it's like super light, or what
Yes,
you might
I
find
can't.
terrifying. It's just,
I'm not going to be able to find it, but there's a section in Brittany's book that you're not buying um, that is perception, right?
yeah,
And don't they say in the military, perception is reality, right?
yeah, yes,
And
yeah,
so how people draw a link between two things, and you go, I see how you got there. That's not where I got. That's not where I went. So anyway, yes.
yeah. Perception is reality is a very big thing in the military,
Yes.
especially when it comes to whether you're doing the right thing or not.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So
yes, that is a real thing.
that's a real thing. Yes.
Which is always good, leadership, a good leadership in and out in a conversation. If you have to have an uncomfortable conversation with somebody, is to use that lens. It's really good. So anyway.
Yes.
So
Yes.
can I ask you about your
Yes.
book?
Yes. You can ask me now about it.
I'm
I
trying.
just know if we forget to do something, if we forget to introduce ourselves, then someone will remind us very,
Yes.
very nicely. If we
Yes.
forget to talk about what we're reading, someone will say, you didn't mention what you're reading. And so I just wanted to make sure that we checked all the boxes, Lucas.
You're very good at keeping me on track. Thank you.
I do what I can.
You see how this works? You're going to send Tammy a thank you card later.
Yes. Yes. Oh, by the way, I would be remiss before we dive into the topic at hand if I did not wish you and Tammy a very happy 20th anniversary.
Oh,
also, if you all want to see some very cute photos, you will go to Instagram or Facebook and you'll go through the little roll and see the children when they were children. So cute.
Yeah, we were children for sure. She definitely was.
Little baby Lucas and little cradle robbed Tammy.
She was 18. She was 18.
She was legal.
For the record.
I had her father's permission.
Yeah, I did get the father's permission before we married. That is true. Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was 22 years ago we met. And this picture that Honoree's referencing is one where I looked particularly, I don't know how to describe it without saying something I probably shouldn't say on a live stream, but
hashtag thug life. I'm just gonna say.
If you look at that picture of me, you're gonna go, "Oh, okay, yeah, I got it."
Yeah,
that's where he comes from. Got
That's where he comes from. Yep.
I look at that picture and go, "That guy better not show up to date my daughter." That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Oh, thanks, Jen. You're very nice.
Yes. They
Tammy
did look
look
like babies.
And she looks like she has no idea what's getting ready to happen to her.
But did she?
No.
Okay. I mean, in her defense.
We had a very quick conversation about my job at the time, which I was, dead smack in the middle of being active duty. And I was like, hey, I leave a lot. Is that okay? It was like this very, very funny conversation. Like, I can't not do this. Like, this isn't like a negotiable thing. I have to finish this obligation. So you're either in or you're not in. And I don't.
You're in for a penny or in for a pound.
That's
You're
right.
either in or out.
Don't fault you if this is not
in
the
or
life
out.
you
Make your
choose.
lifelong biggest decision ever right now. Before tacos. Go.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it worked out. It seems to have worked out. And it's not those types of decisions don't always work out.
Absolutely worked out.
Well, they either work out or they work out.
True.
I mean, mine didn't work out, but I got 12 books out of it. So I'm good.
It's some great fodder for the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Michael. I was like, hey, I don't want to put pressure on you, but
yeah. Take your time. Go.
Yeah, I can tell you what to expect. I just can't show you what to expect. You have to live through being a military spouse with someone who's deployed and all the things for you to really understand the levity of what I'm saying. It was like, I felt bad for her because I was kind of like, hey, if you're not down for this, it's probably going to get a little tough.
Yes. If you're codependent,
Right.
or you think commitment is
A silly thing.
is what is it? Not optional, but conditional.
Right.
I met a military wife once who was like, well, I said yes, but if it doesn't work out, like, sure enough, they're divorced. Big
Yeah.
shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
a
just
suggestion. That's what I was gonna say. It's like
uh,
commitment's a suggestion. Like,
right.
I suggest we're committed to each other, but, if you change your mind, just,
Yeah.
feel free to go. So,
And I think a little bit in my, I think a little bit of it was me going, I just don't want to hear later that I didn't warn you. Like, it's like, well, you told me, but you didn't tell me it was going to be like this kind of thing. So,
yeah,
oh, there's a link for You Must Monetize Your Book.
I think that's a hint.
Yeah. She's like, would you please move on with
Would you
your
please
life?
talk about the book? Yes.
So there it is. There's the link to the book that Honorée just published. You Must Monetize Your Book by
Yeah.
the one and only Honorée Corder. Available everywhere.
I have, and along the lines of how much love I haven't given this book, I have the proof copy. I know that there are actual copies that people have. Renee said that she got hers in physical copy. I haven't gotten, I think I've ordered some copies. I just don't have an official,
There you go.
some official copies. Yes. So,
Well, I have my official ebook copy.
okay. Yeah.
So, I don't have my official paperback yet.
Yeah.
And
I was doing well to get the files approved on time. As a matter of fact, Amazon has been taking a tremendously long time to approve book files. So I should have approved them the week prior, Monday, the week prior. And on Thursday morning, I woke up and thought, oh, the book is supposed to go to the art tomorrow. I should probably, not the book, but getting the team on the
right.
review bandwagon. That email is ready to go. Might be good if I approve the files. So with a prayer in my heart, I approved the files and they went live in 2 hours, which I have not seen for the better part of 6 months. Something
Wow.
approved that quickly. So I'm feeling very lucky. I should have played the lotto that day because that was a sign.
Yeah.
So the book went live on Amazon, and then I have been, struggling to keep up with all the other things. No, Michael, it doesn't.
Nope.
No, it does not go faster if you've published with them before. It took me 3 weeks to get the 4th edition of You Must Write a Book approved a year ago. I did the update on that.
Right. And there was a
And
layer to that though.
there was a period of time where they had blocked the book. They were like, you are trying to do something naughty, so you are denied. And so I just waited a few weeks, and again, with a little bit of a prayer in my heart, said, let me just try again. And it went through. So I got lucky again with that. So in order to publish an updated edition, in case anyone's interested, your book needs to be at least 10% new content, different content than the previous version. So you can bring over the reviews and that sort of thing, but reset the clock on the algorithms. And it's like a new release, but with a little backstory, with a little, backup to it. And so when I updated the files with the 10% different, which it was 20% different, I would say, if I had to guess, it just sat there and it wouldn't go through and it wouldn't go through. It was in review for the longest time. And then it finally did. They've approved 2 versions and blocked the 3rd version. So they approved hardcover and ebook, but blocked paperback. Oh, and then I was basically chatting with a bot who was like, you're denied, denied, denied. 9 yet. No. In all the languages. It was like, you're never going to publish this book. It's blocked. Go away. And then I resubmitted.
Right.
And they let it go. Yeah. So with this book flying through, I'm very happy because I could still be sitting there waiting for it to publish a week later, and I'm not. So I'm very happy, very grateful for that. So I haven't finished. I haven't finished some of the things that are in concert with this book, including the workbook, the bonuses, the little things. I haven't done any podcasts about it. This is the first time I've talked about it. I
Yeah.
posted on socials exactly one time. So I'm very grateful for the support and love getting for this that I'm getting for this book. As a matter of fact, Lucas, I haven't even told you this. On Tuesday, so the book launch was Monday. On Tuesday, I had the highest single revenue day I've ever had since I've been a published author.
Really?
One day. Yeah.
You just, and
I
this was
can't
on
explain it. And it
this was
totally
on
threw
Amazon.
off the graph too. So the graph is like inching along, and then there's like this big spike, which means all the other numbers look like super tiny. Like I'm not even like I don't even care. Like I'm not even trying.
So for those that are watching or listening and you aren't self-published on Amazon yet,
Yeah.
um, when you publish a new title, Amazon tries to get the word out to people who have previously purchased from that author.
Yeah.
And so if you have an extensive backlog like Honorée does, that can have a pretty big impact on your launch sales because they go to everyone, hey, there's a new book out. And if those people are
Yeah.
interested in and satisfied with their last read, they are apt to jump on it, especially while it's at a discounted price.
Yeah. They've actually recommended it to my other account. They've recommended my book to me on another account. So
Yeah.
on my personal,
Right.
right.
Which is exactly what I do
Which is
as well.
well, just a little tip for aspiring authors when you set up your publishing accounts, you want to make sure, especially on Amazon, because you wouldn't necessarily have this anywhere else. You want to make sure that your publishing account is separate from your personal purchasing account.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to have your business Amazon and your personal Amazon, and never the twain shall meet.
Right.
Which
That's my email
allows you,
address.
right, different email address, different everything, right? It's where they're gonna send them royalties.
That's right. Which
For
is
that
not to be
direct
confused
deposit.
with having a separate KDP account. You can only have one KDP account, but you can have
Right.
multiple Amazon accounts.
Right.
And whichever one your KDP account is attached to is the business.
Right. It's where you're gonna put in your EIN number in your business, and you want to make sure you have a business account. You never want to have income go into a personal account. You want to have it go into a business account. So it's a little bit of the stuff I talk about in You Must Monetize Your Book. Treat your business like a business.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to jump into the table of contents a little bit, if you don't mind.
Do it.
Um,
What do they say?
Don't remember. Yeah. Looked at him so long ago. Well, you broke this book into three distinct sections. And I like how you address like laying the foundation in the first section,
Yeah.
which contains several chapters, right? So your first question out the gate is why monetizing your book is the next best thing you can do for yourself and your business. And it is a good justification for making this strategic decision for your business and for your book that it should go in a certain direction in order to support the business. Can you talk a little bit about why monetizing your book is the next best thing you can do for yourself and your business?
I want to just give the very simple answer that you're leaving money on the table, and you're leaving the potential of your book untapped, and the growth of and revenue of your business less than it could possibly be if you don't think about your book first as an asset and then as something that is repurposable into other income streams.
Right.
Yeah.
So leaving potential money on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, but also impact. I think the obviously the word monetize, and I get a little bit of criticism from time to time. Oh, you're just all about the money. And it's like, well, it's a business. So duh. But also I am very much focused on the impact that my work has. I want my books and everything I do to have a positive impact 100% of the time. That's my goal. That's my intention.
Gotcha.
And so you are leaving money on the table when you don't look at the contents of your book and realize that not everybody reads. Not everything that you have to say or contribute can be contained in a book.
Right.
And if those two things are true, and they are, then you have opportunities to take that content, which is your knowledge and your expertise and your education and your experience, and combine it with other aspects of your knowledge or expertise and your experience, and bring it to people in other formats that they may be more inclined to want. Not dissimilar from the person when I talk to people. I talked to someone last night. I was at an event and the woman said, "Oh my gosh, you have a book. What book do you have?" And I said, "Well, what do you read?" And we got to do a conversation. And she said, "Oh, I would love a copy of your book," because I offered it. And I said, "How do you read?" And she said, "I always read either an Audible while I'm driving. I'm either listening to the book or I have a hard copy." She said, "I never read digital books ever." And I was like, "Okay, note to self, don't send her a book funnel link."
Ah, right.
Right? So everyone has a preference. I have all the preferences. I like listening to books. I like reading books on my phone, on my Kindle, and in physical form, and different books for different reasons in different formats at different times.
Right.
It depends. Throw a scenario at me and I'll tell you how I'm going to be consuming a particular piece of content or
Right.
a particular book. But some people are never going to read.
Mhm.
They're never going to listen to your book. They're never going to read it on their phone or their Kindle. They don't have a Kindle. They don't know what a Kindle is.
Right.
And they don't read physical books. So then what do? You have other options to monetize your book into different income streams, which helps your business with income, and it increases your impact because you're able to reach people in ways that they can be reached.
And that kind of leads the book into the discussion about different types of income streams, right? So
Yes.
you've got coaching, courses, certifications. I'm just listing off the table of
Yeah,
contents real
please.
quick.
Please. Yeah.
Consulting, speaking, training, book series, selling in different ways, like selling in bulk,
Yeah.
custom prints,
Yeah.
virtual summits, masterminds. I mean, all the things that you've had a chance to do with your own books and have made
Yes.
successful with your own books.
Correct.
When I first met Honorée, it's kind of funny that we're having this conversation like 3 years later, but when
Yes.
we first met, one of the things that really set you apart from so many of the other people I was seeking information from about publishing and learning about how to build a book to contribute to my business was that you had done it in so many different ways and you had succeeded in each of those ways. And I found that was a real differentiator. And I thought, well, there's a lot to learn here. If I just listen, if I just go to this person and listen to them and try and learn from them, I could learn about each of these different ways. And maybe one or two of those ways is best for me. Maybe all of them are, but you have to
Right.
get smart. So I love that you put each of them in this book and give people a taste of how each of these different income streams tied to the book can be beneficial to the overall theme of the book and the way your business is structured and what you do.
Yes. I think there are two important things to note. One you said and one you didn't. The first one is there were no puppies, kittens, or rainbows involved in the making of this movie. i.e., I was not successful at everything that I did. I have a lot of cuts and bruises and scrapes and wasted money and time and energy and effort to
Oh yeah.
show for the fight. So the second thing is I only wrote from the experience that I have had truly. There is no hypothesizing. Can I use a $10 word?
We'll say that. Yeah.
I wasn't guessing. I wasn't like, well, maybe you should sell books in bulk, or maybe you should do vanity printing, or maybe you should have a coaching program, or maybe you should try to get paid for speaking. I have done all of those things and been successful at those things. And where I have failed at those things, first attempt in learning, I have learned from them and put my learning in the writing of this book. Because I don't ever want it to appear as though it is fast or painless, or there isn't effort that has to be put into something. Yes, Michael says it best. And I know you have a couple of questions, Michael. We'll be sure to circle back to those. But I've heard this works versus I know this works. And so in the book, I put, what the revenue stream is and what you need to put it in place and things to look at globally, things to be aware of globally, cautions to take, things to think through. How long is it going to take for you to make money? How soon do you make money? Those things are a factor. How good are you at getting money and then delivering services long after you've spent the money? All of those things are a consideration. Do you actually like people? do you want to talk to people, or do you want to do things where you don't have to talk to anyone? Those are all factors, all things to consider, the things to really think through before you roll up an income stream, because it is going to take longer. It is going to require more effort. And it's not easy. And if you're lucky, right? And I think lucky, I texted myself something this morning because I heard on a podcast someone say something that is, you have to work so hard, it makes luck easy to find. Ryan Serhant.
Interesting.
He was interviewed on Entrepreneurs on Fire with John Lee Dumas. And he said, where does luck play into your success? And he said, well, I think you have to work so hard that luck is easy to find. And so if you're lucky enough, right, that you have someone that gives you business, or you're lucky enough that you've got good relationships, that business comes to you by referral, or you're lucky enough to have unique knowledge and information, like don't take that for granted. And don't be afraid to work. Never take anything for granted, and always keep showing up and working. You have an exponentially higher likelihood of being successful when you don't go, is it done? Am I done? Yeah. Chance favors the prepared. That's accurate.
Well, that kind of insight is, kind of steps outside the bounds of like, here's a list of things you can do to create a course. Here's a list of things you can do to create a mastermind. Here's a list of things. And I think, sometimes people see a book like this and they think, well, I'll go there and it'll just be a step-by-step guide for all the things. And they don't know how to think about whether it's a worthy investment, if it's the right decision for their business, all these things.
Right.
I think it's because there's like a proliferation of, I don't know how to say this without coming across a little egregious, but like there's like in the content selling world that we all live in now, everyone's trying to sell you the fast solution, the quick path to building a thing. And the people who have actually built businesses on these products know that there's so much that goes into it that you have to think about before you can invest in any of these things as a wise decision for your business. And you do a really good job of giving people that lens by which to think about their investments and their assets and their business, and determining which of these things is right and which maybe not be right for them. I love that.
Thank you.
So that kind of goes right into chapter or section 3 of the book, which is where you talk about choosing your best and fastest path to revenue. And you make a distinction in that sentence that I hope people don't look past: best and fastest. So sometimes there's a path to revenue that's quick, but it might not be the best path for your business. And then the other times the two happen at the same time and it's like magic, and everyone goes, oh man, how lucky are you that you kind of nailed that head, the first time you swung the hammer. So can you talk a little bit about like choosing your best and fastest path to revenue?
Yeah, of course. So the best is what fits with your personality, how quickly you need money, how much money you have to invest, how much time you have to invest, what's best for your overall business vision. Like, what's the vision that you have for your business for 10 years down the road? What do you have available? Are you still working full time, or are you a full-time entrepreneur? Do you have time for another income stream? I have people who come to me all the time with opportunities, and I'm like, okay, which hour of sleep am I going to sacrifice for this one?
Yeah.
I'll always entertain, but it's hard to get a yes, right? When you have to manage all of the aspects of it. I think if people would take a minute to think something through, they would save themselves time, money, energy, and effort by not just um, making a rash decision, an emotional decision, right?
Right.
And so in the book, I talk in two different places about the process of look, then choose, and then move. Because a lot of people are like, fire, aim, ready, right? And it's the same
Right.
thing said a little bit different of a way. It's like, look at all the options, choose 1, 2, or 3 that are the best for you to do right now. Play, and we just went through this, the NCAA Final Four. It's these two against these two teams against these two, and then they advance. Whoever wins advances. It's the same process. Oh, I could be a coach or I could be a speaker. Let me look at both of those revenue streams and see which one would be faster. Well, they could be two really good prize-winning horses.
Right.
You could book a speaking engagement for next week and get paid for it, and that would be really fast. You could book a new speaking or a new coaching client and be coaching them next week, and that would be really fast. Which one is duplicable, right? What can you do more often? And so just look at it. I do less speaking than anything these days, and for a long time, because I don't like being on the road. I don't yet have a private jet. So if I had a private jet, I would speak all the time because that would be great. Like get on the private jet with my dogs and my husband. We'd go somewhere. I'd stand and deliver for an hour. I'd sign some books. It would be great. And then I'd get back on the jet with my husband and my dogs, and we would come home.
Yeah.
No hotel necessary.
Yeah.
Right?
Sleep on the plane on the way back, you know?
Right? No TSA necessary. No taking off of my shoes and walking with either my bare feet or my socks. Gross at the airport, right? It's like, oh, I'm sure that's sanitary. I'm sure it's cleaned all the time. Nevertheless, I digress. So I would rather do things that don't require me to go places unless it's like super fun and special. So if anyone has a speaking engagement that I can get to via private jet with my dogs and my husband in Paris, sign me up. Also, I would like to stay at the Four Seasons George Cinq. Please and thank you. However, barring that, I'm pretty clear. I'm gonna stay home, Lucas.
Yeah. Nothing
Pretty
wrong
much
with
gonna
that.
stay home. Yeah, pretty much gonna stay home. So when you know how you're wired, you can look at these income streams and figure out which one is not only the best, but also the fastest with
Right.
the other considerations in mind. And a mistake I see people making is, I need to make money. How can I make money fast?
Right.
That's not necessarily the best question for the long term. Now, sometimes you need money fast because you need to pay your bills, and that's fair. There are lots of ways to monetize your book even before you have one, with a course, with speaking, with coaching. There are faster paths. A book, ironically, is the slowest path to revenue if it's done well. If you invest the time that it takes and the money
Right.
that it takes to really do a book that's fantastic, the one that is optimized and maximized, then that's going to take you longer than the other income streams you can build up around it. And I suggest you watch the video that we did on the three-legged stool, where we talk about outlining your book, creating your course, finishing your book, finishing your companion item, because the revenue from the course at beta is fast. I could put up a beta for a course today and send out an email, and I would have money in my bank account in 24 to 48 hours.
Right.
I have to deliver long term. The challenge is that I see with what you said, there's a proliferation of people that are just like, just build this income stream and go. And these are what my dad used to call years ago a flash in the pan. It's like, you never want to be a flash in the pan. You never want to be someone that's really successful for 2 seconds and then gone.
Right.
Like, I've been self-publishing for 20 years, and I'll be self-publishing for 20 years unless something is going to happen to me that I'm not aware of. Right?
Which you can't plan for anyway.
You can
So
plan for anyway, so who cares? So I'm going to say that I'm going to just keep writing and publishing and creating income streams. And every year I'm going to add 1 or 2 new income streams to my bottom line. And either they're going to be income streams or they're going to be additional income assets or assets to my income stream. So I'm going to keep writing more books. So that's not a new income stream. Those are just new books that then help the other income streams grow. That's my plan for the foreseeable future. I don't ever plan on retiring. I'm not interested in stopping.
Right.
I feel like I'm just getting warmed up. I'm like, yeah, throw me in, coach. I'm warmed up. I'm fired up and ready to play, right? It's the second quarter, right? So I feel like I have a very long tail view of everything, which I think is very helpful because I don't get discouraged as easy and I don't quit and I don't give up. And I'm able to ride the waves a little bit. And so when everything is great and everything is flowing and that's wonderful, that's a great wave to ride. And I know that at some point it's going to slow down a little. Right. I love that. The oven is preheated. It's going to take time to cook. That's one way to look at it. It's also, we're coming into spring, and spring is when you plant. And summer is when it looks like ain't no thing happening.
Right.
It's really hot. It's really dry. It's pretty miserable. You still got to put in the work. There's a lot of sweating involved, and you don't get to harvest for a while. And so I talk about the 100 days in your business, like what's happening in your business today. If you are getting money and clients today, chances are 100 days ago in your business, you were shaking your moneymaker. And if right now it's dry and nothing is happening, you can look back and say that 100 days ago, which was December, probably weren't doing very much. You're probably getting ready for the holidays and doing some shopping and taking some time off. And so now, guess what? There's nothing happening in your business because 100 days ago, right? If your pants don't fit today, chances are that 100 days ago, you were having a little extra something and a little less of something else, right? You're probably moving a little less and munching a little more. So, right? Or as I heard on another podcast this morning, stillness is illness. Movement is medicine. I was like, oh, preach.
Yeah.
Preach it. Movement is medicine. Stillness is illness. Sitting is the new smoking. I was listening to somebody who was on fire. Also, I was on the treadmill, so I felt very yeah.
That's funny.
Yes.
I like that you brought up the 100-day thing because you and I have had conversations in the past about this.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's a great thing to have constantly affixed in your mind that you're in a better situation, whether you can pull the levers and get money right now or not. You're still in a better situation to have money in the future if you plan that cycle a little bit better. And that is that, you should give yourself a quarter to kind of ramp up your marketing and your expectations for actual revenue on these products, which kind of goes against a lot of the thinking with books, which is funny that I love that this is tied to this, because in the book world, people are like, you're going to put all this work into it up front, and then you're going to have a launch, and the launch is going to be this super, impactful and important event. And then after that, there's this long tail of marketing to sustain those sales, and off you go. And we think about it as like these momentous milestone of this launch. We have to do all this stuff to launch. And then sometimes we walk over to other products and we don't think about them that way, or we think about them solely that way. Courses, for example.
Sure.
But some of the things that you're offering in this program, a lot of the things that you're offering in this book, are not like big milestone launch type things. They actually have like a lot of sustainment investment in them.
Right.
Like if you're going to teach live courses, there's a time and money obligation to teaching live.
That's right.
If you have a certification program like you've actually run, you know that you have a constant recruiting and retention and recertification program.
Yes.
You're
Maintenance on the treadmill of marketing, on the treadmill of client satisfaction, client service. Customer experience.
So that thinking about 100 days kind of eliminates that I can just put something together next week, get money next week, and then there's really like my itch is scratched. When the reality is, if you create something that you can sell next week, you're probably going to have a much longer obligation than next week.
Right. Yeah. Unless you're
And
literally trading time for money, right?
that's
Unless
right.
you're literally saying, I'm going to trade this hour for this dollar.
That's right.
That's also called a job.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
I have services in my business that I provide people, and
Same.
I
Yeah.
obligate time to a certain amount of services in my business, and then I
Yeah.
obligate a lot of time to non-services like products, right? Like books
Right.
and
Right.
other more passive um sources of income, and creating kind of that balance, to your point, is something that you have to kind of work through in your business to kind of figure that out.
Right.
But I love that you provide insight into each of these different types of products and services so that people can make a decision for themselves what fits best into their business, and kind of get a general expectation of what that product or service could do for their business. And it's all, by the way, tied back to using this book as kind of like a launch pad for this. You've already done all this work to create this great nonfiction book. What are you
Right.
doing related to that book to keep feeding your business outside of just book sales? Right.
Right. You've got to
So-
market your book, but then you also,
Mhm.
if you are wanting to build an empire, you
Right.
can take that book and turn it into so many other things
Right.
that will cause people to buy the book. We would be remiss, I think, if we did not mention that the course that actually goes with this book has been out since 2019,
Right.
Building $1 Million Book Business,
Mhm.
which thank you, Tim Grawl, for making me do that course. And if you have access to that course, you get to see me in a very frustrating hair period. So it'll be amusing. So the videos will be enlightening and entertaining all at the same time. You are welcome. Um, but that course was part of the reason I started really building out these books. And I had written You Must Write a Book, and then I did Building $1 Million Book Business, and then I did Publishing PhD in its original format, and then I did Building $1 Million Book Business. And I've kind of followed the yellow brick road, followed the rose petals, or the peanuts on the path. Like, still hungry, I'll just keep walking. And that now this is where I've ended up, building all these different income streams and figuring all this out by trial and error and success, figuring things out. And it's a fun game if you play it. It's a fun game when you play it. You can figure it out. I do want to just take a second and say that the difference between the book and the course is that the course comes with the assets that the book cannot come with.
Right.
More detailed instructions, videos, and also I provide in the course my legal agreements, manuals to download. So you don't have to figure out from scratch, oh, I'm going to teach a certification program. What does my certification program manual look like? Or what's the legal agreement that I want to have with the people that I'm certifying? I want to sell my books in bulk. How do I price my books? How do I do a custom book project? How do I create a companion, something like that? So it comes with more detailed instruction. This book gives you an overview and really gets your wheels turning and gives you some insight and information. The course provides you with not just a roadmap, but assets that you need in order to do it. So you'll need to hire a lawyer to take my agreement and adapt it to what you're doing, but you don't need to start from scratch. So you save thousands and thousands of dollars with every income stream just with the assets that I provide. And that was really the reason that Tim suggested I do it, is because I've created the income streams and then um, was willing to share those assets with people. Because most people will say, well, I'm going to tell you how to do it, but I'm not going to tell you really how to do it, or better yet, like, give
Right.
you the secret sauce for doing it. So commercial over, but it's important that people understand that there's a course that goes with the book.
Yeah. I mean, and
That's
I
specific.
mean, I'm a little biased because I'm a course guy, but I think it's a fantastic way to do exactly what you're saying. I mean, your book, um, your book can only do so much.
That's right.
It's got the physical constraints of words on paper or
Yeah.
on screen. And your course is a great example of, get all those templates, get all those references. I used those same assets from your course when I started a couple of my products when I first entered the Empire Builders Mastermind. That course was one of the first things that I accessed. I was like, oh, look at this. And then I was looking at your coaching agreement and I was like, oh, I wonder how this compares to mine. And then I looked at it and I went, oh, wow, there's so much I want to be able to merge these two together because it was, I mean, and that is still to this day is the agreement I have in place for any one of my clients is the one I generated based off of your course.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome.
Fantastic resources in that course.
The best thing I can help people to do is peek around corners. Right.
Yeah.
You want people to look around the corner and get scared. I want people to peek around the corner and feel safe and loved and supported. I'm just saying.
I want them to walk around the corner, then realize they've made a terrible decision. Then realize they can't go back. There's no coming.
Right. So that's the difference between Lucas and Honorée.
That's
all
funny.
in good fun. All in good fun. Well, thank you, Lucas. I can't believe the hour is over already.
Yes.
And thank you everyone for all of your comments and weighing in. And I do want to answer Michael's 2 questions, really. He asked if you already have a KDP account connected to your personal Amazon account, I would just separate them. I would decide that the personal account is now your business account and then create a separate personal account. And it would take some unwrapping and unpacking. It's worth it to do that just to separate that because any income that goes into a personal account is considered higher at a higher tax rate. I learned that lesson the hard way. So thankfully on a small amount of money, but I did have to pay a very high tax rate on one income stream that was going into my personal account. So just be aware of that. And then the second question.
Yeah, by the way, don't set up that.
I don't know where the second question went.
I'm looking. Michael, with that advice Honorée gave you, the only thing you have to really be careful with Amazon is that you don't set up a separate KDP account in your effort to move from one to the other.
Yeah.
Keep that KDP account right there. And if you're like having a hard time getting the email address updated, just send them a message and say, look, I'm trying to do the right thing here and update my email.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't know that I see.
Oh, he made a comment. It's difficult to reach a large audience without the finances that pay for what's required. And that is not an inaccurate statement. And it's also an inaccurate statement because, and maybe we can do a live about this at a future time. But there are, if you read, and I'm guessing you've read You Must Market Your Book, and forgive me if I'm not recalling your review, because I'm sure if you've read it, you've reviewed it. You're very kind, and I appreciate that very much. That there are ways to generate revenue and do marketing that are low or no cost. They just require more time. And so just keep that in mind. It's like, I don't necessarily have a large audience, and I also have other things that I do to make up for the fact that my profile is not as high as other authors, or I'm not traditionally published or have, whatever. So there are things that you can do. So don't let the fact that the finances are standing in your way. However, I do want to say there are a couple of things that are important there. It's to work on your poverty and your prosperity consciousness and make sure that you are expanding and working on that all the time, because that will help you to get where you want to go faster. And also did not sacrifice quality in an effort to just go ahead and get something out, because I can't afford to do it right. So if you can't afford to do it right, you can't afford to do it over. So it's better to take an extra year even to publish a book and do it well than to do a crappy job and get it out there and have someone who might have otherwise hired you for something not hire you because they see a mistake or an error or errors or poor quality, because they will assume this is how you do everything, right? The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So Michael, why don't you send me an email with your mailing address? I have some copies of You Must Market Your Book on my shelf that I would be happy to send you one if you'll review it. If you'll give me an honest review at the end, I would be happy to do that. So just send me an email. And that's really for anyone that's watching. If you've watched this long and you haven't read You Must Market Your Book, I have about 20 copies on my shelf. And I would be happy to send that to someone in the US, because if I send it overseas, I also have to have a kidney donated in exchange for payment. So I think that's it for today. Lucas, did you have any final thoughts or ideas?
No, I just wanted to encourage everyone to go check the book out. Go find the book. You can get it everywhere they're sold. I grabbed mine on Amazon, and it's just a fantastic book. I can't wait to finish it. I'm in the middle of reading it right now, and every time I pick up one of your publications, I just learn so much. Even after all the conversations that you and I have had about many of these topics, there's always these little nuggets in there, different ways of thinking, processing the words versus hearing them. It's always the way, you have these aha moments when you're reading and you're just kind of in thought. So I encourage everyone to go out and get a copy.
Or stay in and get a copy.
Yeah. And enjoy the book. That's it.
Awesome. Well, we invite you to check out all of our books and courses and other offerings. And Lucas has Monetize Your Book with a Course and Course Pricing Strategies. Those are his 2 nonfiction books so far, and more are on the way. And then he has Bury the Child, which is more creepy than scary, as we've determined, and Burn the Girls, which is not an enticing title for someone who wants to find joy and happiness, but I'm going to read it and report back. For those who are skittish in the horror department, I will take one for the team and report back. But you're a beautiful writer, so I, of course, enjoy reading whatever you write, as long as the lights are on and it's daylight outside. And so check out all of our stuff. And if you're so inclined, ring the bell, like and subscribe, and tell your friends, and read some books and make some money, and tell us about it, because that's what we're doing this for. And we will see you next week. And Justin, I know you're going to be like, what are you talking about next week? Well, to be confirmed.
That's right.
To be released. We just know this. We're working on something, and we know you won't want to miss it. We know you will want to make sure that you are here, or you are tuned in for a replay. Right. How was that? That was pretty good, right?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye, everyone.